Hello, everybody. I hope you all had a nice Christmas. Had a wonderful Christmas, actually. I did. I had my family over and I had friends, and it was wonderful. Counted my blessings. It was so good. And I kept thinking, I have to make my videos. I have to make my videos. I had made this Scott Morrison cup last week, and I never got around to reading it. And I had made another Donald Trump cup as well, and I never got around to posting it. I read this one, but I never posted it. This one I hadn't even read till recently. And then today I did a John Lewis cup. I know today's not Tuesday, but wow, John Lewis, you guys. So I had a feeling about him. That's why I did that cup back in November. I think it was November 8th. I went back and I checked my video, and I said he would be fine. I didn't see him dying or anything like that, but I had a feeling. That's why I did that cup. I could not take another hit with him, especially. He's an American hero, and I tend to just consider my heroes people in my family that I know very well, because how many of us have put our faith in people and thought of them as heroic, and then we find out they're crazy or just immoral. But this gentleman, since I was a little girl, I know that he's the exception. And I've always felt an affinity to him. So much so that I felt something was wrong with him. But I did my cup and I did not see him dying. I saw him with neck and knee problems, but I did not see him dying. And I was talking to my mom about that, and she tells me, you know that we're afraid to tell you when something's wrong, because we know how sad you get, and we know how sentimental you are. My younger brother is basically the only one that doesn't keep anything hidden from me. Almost everyone else, anything goes wrong, they try not to tell me or wait. And I didn't really know I was that bad till recently. My brother will tell me, because he knows I'm an action person, like I jump into action. So, like, if any of my elderly relatives are sick, he'll tell me. My mom's like, oh, no, they're fine. They're doing good. My brother's like, nope. And then I'll go and I take him to the hospital. I take him to the doctor. Or my pets, like my mom will tell me, oh, they're just getting old. And my brother's like, no, there's something wrong. And I'll go and I'll take my pets to the vet. And surely enough, there's something wrong with them. So I am so thankful to have an ally in my younger brother. He's from a younger generation, and he understands science, and he knows, diagnosis versus getting treatment, and how far ahead we've come even in the last 5 years. So I'm so thankful for that. And yeah, so I'm very sad about the John Lewis news, but I knew something was happening. And my mom said, the cup sometimes doesn't tell you. And now that I'm doing these political readings, I'm learning with you guys along with the cup. So this is the John Lewis cup. And I told you that I had people very close to me, like when my aunt passed away, we didn't really read the cup because I was too busy working and trying to make money. But I remember seeing her alone like that. And now that I'm doing these political readings, even though I don't see anyone dead, like usually when someone's going to die, they come out here and then like their coffin comes out next to them, right here. And I didn't see that for John Lewis. But that's because they're still walking. Like they say, dead man walking kind of situation. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm just telling you from my own experience, from people in my own family. They have been dead women or dead men walking, and now that I see this with a John Lewis, now I realize, and I'm learning along with you guys. And these political readings, it takes a lot of concentration because you have to do it for them. And there's a prayer and a meditation that I do for them. Usually you take a sip of it. And I don't. I can't take a sip of it because the cup is not for me. And so, yeah, now I know when someone comes out all alone like that, is that their health is in question. And it happened with my tia, with my aunt. And now I see that with John Lewis. But, the first time I just thought, she may feel lonely because she's an elderly lady, and I would go see her all the time and go buy her, stuff and try to take her to restaurants, and that's what I did. But then I realized, she was mortally ill, and I think that that's what that means now for these people. And so for John Lewis, I'm so heartbroken. I didn't know that this man was going to hurt me so bad, you guys. I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much he meant to me. And I never even met him. I am just so heartbroken. I was looking up the pancreatic cancer, and about 50% of people diagnosed with pancreatic cancer are on stage 4 because it's a silent killer. And when you're on stage 4, your life expectancy is between 3 to 6 months. So it's just devastating. It's just devastating. And I was going to do the Scott Morrison cup first, but since I got into this diatribe, I'm just going to go ahead and do the John Lewis cup. But before I start that, I just want to say that this John Lewis is a very spiritual man. And I don't mean in a religious sense. Like, I consider myself spiritual, but not in a religious sense. And I grew up in a Catholic household, even though I never was taken to church. I'd never been baptized. But I love the Jesus story. So here I have my little nativity set, you guys. Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. I don't mean to turn anybody off. This is just my culture, you guys. Just like if I was Jewish, I would have, the menorah. So I'm just sharing with you. I covered the baby up because I felt so bad. He's like cold. So I actually made like a little thing. And I covered little baby Jesus up. Yeah, so here they are. And like I said, I use my myrrh. Here's the gift for him, and my frankincense and the gold. I really do believe in that. I believe that helps me. And I know there's people that are way more knowledgeable than me in the spiritual realm, but I just stick with love. I just stick with goodwill. And I feel like I'm always on the right path. I never want to hurt anyone. Everything I do is either to bring light or to protect. I never would do anything. I'm not into that, spells and works and things like that. I don't know anything about that. I'm just into protecting my family and my loved ones and bringing peace and light and love. And that's what I do. And even though I grew up with the cup and I picked up the tarot, it's just something natural in me. It's just, if I don't do that, then I have to dream about things, and that's why I do it. But in any case, let's get started on the John Lewis cup. And again, if you go back to my November 8th cup on him, it's almost the same exact cup. This is magical, you guys. If you look back, it's almost the same exact thing. How could that be? How in the world could that be? It's just unbelievable. I'm not kidding you. My video that I posted 2 months ago, almost. So here you have John Lewis at a beach again, all alone, and he walks through this beach and through the water, and he's concerned about the environment. Till his last breath, he's going to be thinking about the world, and I'm sure that he is sad, and because he comes out lonely, and I'm sure that he is thinking, this is it, it's up, my time here is done. And I'm sure that's very hurtful. It's extremely hurtful to him. I'm not saying he's okay with it or anything like that. But his main concern is he didn't get to do as much as he would have hoped he did or have done for the world. And isn't that a lesson for us? Because he's done so much already. He's done too much. And he's still thinking he has not done enough. And he's thinking about the waters and the environment. And here he is again, and he's thinking about, he has some sort of territory or a plot of land or something that he wants to sell. And he's going also like Ginsburg, he's also going to leave some sort of foundation. He's thinking about selling that plot and leaving some sort of foundation money. He's going to create one so that when he passes away, and he's also doing it for the environment and for, civil rights, African American heritage, and African American progress and rights. So for the two things, the environment and for African American rights. And he's working with black folks and white folks. He's always been about working together. He's more of a brotherhood of man than, us versus them. I mean, I don't have to say that to you. You already know that. And he will have help, and his foundation will expand. Even in Congress, the people that work there, I think this is Congress, so it's 3 buildings, 1, 2, 3. So maybe it's the 3 branches. There will be a unification for his foundation. And I know that a lot of the Republicans are saying that global warming is a hoax, but eventually that's going to change, you guys. That will change. That's on its death throes right now. That whole global warming is a hoax, that's about to go out the door. That won't even be, it's not going to happen right away, but I see it as very small pockets of people will still believe that bull. And so he has friends. Here he is, and I think this is like Maxine Waters. In the first cup, that same thing came out. This lady with a wig. I think that's Maxine Waters. This lady with like a wig, kind of like the way Donald Trump comes out. And another gentleman. And I think this may be John again. Or I don't know. I could not tell who this was. And it may be him, but it could be somebody else that's going to pass away in Congress or government. Another dark gentleman. Elijah Cummings, we didn't see that coming with him. We did not see Elijah going. I was worried about John Lewis, you guys, and I felt it in my heart of hearts. And even though I did the cup and it did not show me on the cup him passing away, I was so worried that I did that cup, you guys. And again, like my mom told me, probably the cup didn't tell you because you're too emotional. I'm really having an existential crisis with my cup readings and my tarot readings lately because I'm just too sensitive. I'm just too much sometimes. And so I think there's maybe even someone else is going to pass away before him. It could be him. You know how the cup, it's sometimes it's hard to differentiate if 2 people look alike, who's who. Because honestly, Elijah Cummings and John Lewis kind of looked alike. They were both old. They were both elderly gentlemen. And they were both black. And they were not, extremely tall. So it could be someone along those lines again. It could just be him. I can't tell. But you know what? At the bottom of the cup, I couldn't see it, man. I could not see it. It took me so long. But I see that he's going to leave a lady, a light-skinned lady. Now, it could be a light-skinned black woman. Or, I think it's a light-skinned black woman that he will leave. This light-skinned black woman has like a baby. And she wears like a medal, like some sort of medal. Remember how Obama gave Congressman Lewis a medal? She might be wearing that medal. And she's going to be the one in charge. And he's going to leave her that foundation to do with the environment, animals, and civil rights. So she's going to be in charge of his legacy. And he is not just thinking about civil rights. That's his main objective. But he's thinking about the water and the animals and the environment and how those things we need to preserve and how they affect those most vulnerable. And those most vulnerable are the minorities, especially, particularly African Americans. So he's very concerned and he's going to leave that woman. He's, I just, it's crazy, but even though I know he only has a few months to live, I still don't see him dying on the cup. And I think it's me emotionally just blocking it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Same thing happened with my tia, with my aunt. I could not see her go. And I also was talking to my mom about that, and I said, Mom, is it because they never really leave? Now, I saw Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I saw her in the cup, lifted from the ground and passing on. So she is making the necessary adjustments for her passing. She already is. Donald Trump, I saw passing away as well. So I seen a few people pass away, but the main ones, political people that I've seen pass away, is Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Donald Trump. Now Ruth, I see her transitioning. Like she's in the air, like she's making it, she's accepting it, she's moving on, she's leaving what she can, like a legacy of when she passes for them to keep going. But she's hanging up the robe, she's throwing in the gloves, and she's moving on. Donald Trump, I suspect, I didn't see a transition, and I didn't see him like accepting it. So what that tells me is that he's not even going to be conscious that he will pass on. So I'm thinking Alzheimer's, you guys. I really am. I didn't want to say that before because every time I did a cup for him, I kept, please tell me, how's he going to pass away? And I never saw it. But now that I'm becoming more of a political, like I can see things more politically of these people that I never met, like they're just their experience with the cup. I'm thinking the reason I didn't see him is because he's not going to know that he's passing. His mind will be wiped. I think it's going to be something, you know how Alzheimer's also affects your physical health? It might be something like that, but I think when he does pass away, and you guys look at him talk. If you see videos of him in the 80s, of him speaking, he's well spoken and more articulate. There's no comparison to this Donald Trump to the Donald Trump in the 80s and even early 90s. But you can slowly see the decline of his mental agility. You can see the decline. And I really do now understand that he will be passing on, but he will not even be conscious of that. It's mostly like his family with their heads down. I don't even see him even knowing. However, John Lewis, you guys, I see John Lewis, he is not going to be passing on the way that these other people will. And you know how I tell you that I feel I've never seen a dead person? I'm not a medium. I've never seen a dead person in my life, no, or heard anyone dead speak. But I have felt my family members with me. I have felt them. And so, it's the kind of thing is like, am I just imagining it or that I feel it or it's just, but I honestly can tell you that I have felt their presence and I get chills and I feel their warmth and I feel them with me. And I feel that they have not passed on because I can't let go. And I think that they're okay with it because I think they were the same way when their parents and everyone else had passed on and they just hung out a while with you to help you through. Like, I'll share this with you. Like I had to get a license for work the other day, a few months back. And I was so afraid, like I was not going to pass it because I had so many distractions and I just was not into it. I could not focus, so I could not study properly. I was not myself. Usually I could focus really well, and I was juggling too many things, and I had way too much on my plate, and I had so many distractions. I had so many people come visit me, and then I had death in my family that I had to go over, and it just got out of control where I could not sit down and focus and study. And I invoked two of my family members that were courageous and intelligent, and I told them, you know, like people say, Jesus, you take the wheel. It was that kind of thing. I just said, you know, a sacred spirit, Jesus Christ, whoever you may be, I just want you to know, I just want you to allow whatever should happen to happen. But then I prayed to my family members and I said, I need your courage and I need your intelligence, because right now I don't have either one. I'm compromised, you guys. I'm compromised. Modern life just robs you of this focus, of this dignity, of this strength, and it's just really hard to juggle. I mean, the Greeks used to look up and look at the stars, and they came up with these maps and, you know, astrology and all these things. Now we all look at our phones, we look at the ground. What is that doing to us as human beings? So I said, you know what? I don't have that ancient wisdom. I right now I'm losing. I'm losing, you guys. Please help me. Please help me. And guess what, you guys? I passed that test. I passed that license with flying colors, and it was not me. It was not me. Even the instructor told me, she was like, "You did great." I was like, "What?" I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Holy cow, it's not me." And I just felt a relief, like I was not alone, and I will never be alone. And I think that John Lewis is one of those, that he's not going to leave us alone. There's going to be that force, that spirit that's going to hang out. I think Ruth is going to be going, and I think Trump will be going when he goes. I mean, we'll all go. I don't want any of them to pass away. But I think that John, when he passes away, he won't go. You know, he's going to be allowed. He's going to be permitted to hang out with us and walk us for a few more years, decades. I really do believe that. And like my relatives that had gone, they came out like this in the cup. You know, not dead, but dead men walking and helping you, guiding you. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say about John Lewis. I got my Donald Trump cup again because I think something's going on with him too. I feel that, you guys. And it came out on the cup, so I'll read that for you. And the Australia's Prime Minister Scott Morrison cup that I did last week. I'll read that for you in a sec. So let me post this video and I'll be with you in a few minutes. Thanks. Bye, you guys. See you soon.